Listen, if somebody suggested you should differentiate yourself and you thought that was talking about your logo or your font in your header, it's not, okay? And we're going to talk about that today. No punches pulled on the 8-second rule.
This is 8-Second Rule, the podcast about attention-based marketing where we talk about getting, holding on to, and developing the attention of your ideal audience. You've got 8 seconds. What are you going to do with it?
Hello and welcome to the 8-Second Rule. I am your host, Mark R. Morris Jr., and I am the bull rider of copywriting. If you want to find out what that means, you can find me on LinkedIn under Mark R. Morris Jr. Anytime you want to get a hold of me, you can email me at markrmorris2@gmail.com. If you go to the Anchor site for this podcast, anchor.fm, you can also leave me voice messages, which I would love to have some of, and I can put them into the podcast. Today, I'm going to talk about how you differentiate yourself and what the value of that is. All right, so hang on, guys. Here it comes. 8-second rule. I tend to think of myself in terms of how many people show up for me in my daily life, right? This is probably my fault. I keep a tight circle. A lot of people don't engage with me. I work from home. But from time to time, I'm reminded that there are people out there watching me who appreciate what I'm doing, even if sometimes they're at a distance, right? But so what is it that I do? I share my mind. Sometimes it's obnoxious as hell. Sometimes I get angry and I treat someone like a jerk because I think their ideas are garbage. Not the person, their ideas. All people are equally valuable. Think about it. When you hear the price of gold is, $1,300 an ounce or whatever it is right now, and you know how Bitcoin went up over to 10,000 at one point, those numbers sound impressive, right? But what if you take a closer look? I think what you would find is the price of both commodities is based on their potential and not any intrinsic value. What do I mean? Because obviously, gold has been a store of value for 5,000 years. You hear that on the radio ads, right? Well, it's simple, really. Think of it like this. Anything that has true intrinsic value is something you would want on an island with you if you got stranded there. True intrinsic value, okay? In itself, intrinsic means it contains that within. Food, shelter, things like that. So if you found yourself on a desert island and you had 1,000 ounces of gold, but you knew you had to float your ass off that island, what's the gold worth to you? How about a big fat zero? None. Maybe it's even a negative value because you're thinking about it and you're not thinking about getting off the island and taking on extra 62 pounds of weight that you can't eat, drink, or shelter yourself with. It doesn't make any sense, does it? Of course not. So here's what you do. You want to get the value out of that gold, dig a hole and bury it, and now it has value again. Did that sound stupid? It's not. Listen, if you get off the island, you can come back, return, claim your million in gold, right? I mean, even if you have to split it with some sailor to get you back there, now it has potential value. Okay? It has no intrinsic value. Not for you at that point in time. So I want you to think about something. I'm going to come back in the next segment and we're going to discuss this. What are you worth? Hi guys, this is Mark Morris, the copy bull rider from 8 Seconds Rule. And I just want to start off by telling you about Anchor. Anchor.fm. I found this site a couple of years ago, and it is the simplest and easiest way to start a podcast that I know of today. You can do it straight from your smartphone. You don't need anything but their app. It's free. They have creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast. You can even add music, add buffers, all of those things right here on the site. It doesn't cost anything to host it. You can start as many as you want. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it's heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, many more, and you make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership.
It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
So what about it? What are you worth? What intrinsic value do you personally have? What can you do? What do you know? What do you bring to the table right now, where you're sitting, where you're walking, where you're running, some of you out in the cold and the snow, like crazy people trying to get your exercise? Not in some ideal world, but right now, right here in this one, what are you worth? If you took an inventory, you'd probably start with your marketable skills, diplomas, certifications, investments. But I'm asking about you, the actual person, the intrinsic value of you. Just you. Strip away your resume. What can you do? If all you had was the information stored in the gray matter behind your ears, what would it be worth? I have a rough idea of myself. I have some pretty decent skills. I can build things. That's almost always of value. I'm fairly strong, even though I'm getting older. I've spent time in some extreme conditions, so I acclimate well. But again, we're on a desert island. Well, we're really not, are we? So out here in the real world, what sets us apart? What differentiates us? What is our unique selling proposition if we were a product or a service? What makes us us? What makes you you? It's not your education, okay? It's not your skills. Those things contribute. There are plenty of people who have those, though. It's not your face or your body. Even if they're damn near perfect, plenty of people have those too. There's always going to be someone prettier than you, faster than you, stronger than you. It's your experience, guys. It's the things you've done, your memories, your stories, your connections. The intangible things of life are what you'd have to rely on if the whole system just went belly up overnight. And listen, here at the end of 2020, I'm saying that, and we're all looking at each other going, damn, maybe I should take an inventory because it could still happen, right? So what do we really put value on? Because we really don't put much value on those things, do we? Not when life is good. Instead, we use a list that everyone seems to have a copy of, and we match up to others and we compare ourselves to derive our value from our position in the food chain of people we perceive as valuable. All right? But here's what I'm going to tell you. Your value can be determined by you in what you do. And I'm going to share with you how you can do that in just a minute. Differentiation, unique selling proposition, brand recognition, brand value. These are all terms that kind of get bandied about, right? Making us unique, looking like, don't look like everybody else. What does that really mean? Okay. If that's just surface, all right, then you're just driving a different color car because you're still in a car. But now if you show up in a freaking horse and buggy, see the Amish, that's differentiation. Okay. It's setting yourself apart. It's putting yourself in a different category. All right, there's this concept that's called blue ocean market. And this is where you find an untapped field of customers that are just dying to have something done for them. And you look around and you're the only one there. So what good is differentiation really? Does it make you sexier? No. Will it instantly make you wealthier? No. Will it make you smarter? No. Will it make you healthier? No. Will it make you happier? Possibly in the short term. I can't judge that. Okay, so if it doesn't do anything for you, differentiation has one intrinsic value. What is that? It has to do with other people. I'm going to give you a clue here. So when you build yourself, your brand, you are following this pattern of look, I'm only going to do things that are true to my brand. Well, if your brand is something you invented outside of yourself, then that's a little sketchy. Okay. You should be thinking about, like my guest in an upcoming episode is going to talk about what it is that attracts you, what attracts your attention. Okay. Because those are the things, or in what way is your attention attracted? If those are the things that you're going to be best at, those are the people that you're going to connect most with. And that's how you're going to actually get truly authentic branding, because authentic has become a buzzword. All right, guys, listen, authentic means about as much as irony meant. That's ironic meant 5 years ago when we destroyed the word ironic. Ironically, we destroyed the word ironic, which is ironic. It's very ironic by overuse, and authenticity is going the same way, guys. It is. But so is branding. So is all of this stuff. So listen, what you have to do is establish an identity. Let's just call it that, because that's much better than brand. You need to establish an identity that is separate and apart from everyone else in your field, everyone else on LinkedIn, everyone else on Facebook, everyone else on TikTok, everyone else on Twitter. Wherever you're at, people should see you and they should recognize what it is that you do. I want you to think of your favorite YouTuber or social media star. I'm just going to pick someone because I'm not really into fandom. I'll just say Gary Vee. If you say Gary Vee, people who know who he is are going to have one of two reactions. Oh, or oh, right? Or let's take an example, and he actually had a quote about this, is Elon Musk, right? He sets himself out there, doesn't he, right? He differentiates himself, and he says that the list of people who wish I were not here is growing. That's differentiation for you, okay? But let me ask you something. When you think of these guys, who else do you think of? Did any names come to mind? Maybe one or two? Because if you think of Elon Musk, you could say Bill Gates, but is he really? Is he really? In the modern context? No. So you have to go back to like Nikola Tesla and Albert Einstein. And I'm not saying he's as smart as these guys. I don't know. It's not a competition. I'm saying he's in a league of his own. Are you starting to get through? So when you think Gary Vee, who else do you think of? Is there anybody? I mean, you might say Seth Godin. There's other people you could name. Jeff Bezos, he's got a lot of stuff going on, right? There are guys who are out there who are doing just as much. But if you were going to hire someone, where would you find the poor man's Gary Vee? Would you be able to do that? Would you be able to find me someone like Gary Vee? Hire him. Gary Vee's not available. What would you do? I'm going to come back in just a second. I'm going to explain what I'm talking about. So you've heard about differentiation. You've heard about the unique selling proposition. You've heard that you need one. You heard that you needed a why and all these things to differentiate yourself and make your company, your offering, your product unique. And they told you that was because you needed brand recognition so people could tell you from other people, and then they attach to you, and it's, then there's brand evangelists and they all love you or they don't love you or whatever, and you kind of build your tribe, blah, 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 blah. Why? What is the number one goal of being in business? The number one goal of being in business should be to make as much money as it is that you are trying to make with as little effort as you possibly can. You should make that as efficient as possible. Okay, if you're trying to be a $50 million company, great. Do it with the fewest number of people you can. Pay them the most amount of money. Find the cheapest way to do whatever it is that you're doing without screwing over the people. Okay? You see what I mean? Get it down there. You want to do that. You want to maximize profit. That's the name of the business game. Now, listen, you can have all kinds of social values. You can give away 2/3 of your income. I don't care about that. The goal remains the same. Whatever you intend to do with that money or the company quote unquote culture that you build or whatever it is, you've set a goal for what level of success in the financial realm, in the wealth game, you want to reach, right? And I don't care what it is. If making $50,000 a year is yours, that's awesome. Do it. But listen to me. When you get there, then the goal should be to make that as easy as it possibly can be. All right? Now, if you want to face new challenges and take a step to the next level, great, make a new goal. But I'm saying your goal should always be to achieve what it is you're after with minimum effort so that you can then put your energy and your time into other things, creating new ways of doing it, helping other people achieve whatever it is that makes your heart beat faster. Okay? But no one out there is thinking, I want to work as many hours as I possibly can. Why? Right? So what is it that you need to do? Okay? If you are differentiating yourself, and this is the goal, is to get to that point, then you want to be able to attract customers because that's where your money comes from. I don't care if you're offering a good or a service or a membership. Clients, people with checkbooks, people with bank accounts, okay? Or maybe not. For instance, my podcast right here, this is a business. It's a microcosm of a business. It's made about $3 so far. Woohoo! But I'm only in my second week. So the goal will be, though, to get as many listeners as I can. Now, they're not paying for the service, but advertisers will. Once I get enough people, I'll have more ads available. And I'm never going to put more than 2 ads in an episode, guys. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to make some money. I'm not going to lie about that. But I'm not going to try to make it off of you, except when I offer a book or something like that. And if I do, I promise it will add 10 times value over what you get from listening to this podcast. That's neither here nor there. I'm not a greedy person. So what do? What's the best way to get the most customers? Make the most noise, find the biggest market, look for the largest demand, supply and demand, right? Well, you've already got a product. You've already got an offering. Now what? The market is X. The market is 100,000 people who will buy this product this year, and you are looking to corner the market. You want 60% of those to be yours. How do you do it? So what good is differentiation in this equation? I'll tell you, it eliminates the competition. It eliminates them. It cuts them off at the knees. When you think of Elon Musk, when you think of Gary Vee, who else is there? When you think of Jeff Bezos, who else is there? Sam Walton, please. Right? Now, these guys may be evil geniuses, and I kind of think that they are. I'm pretty sure Mark Zuckerberg, for one, is a sociopath at the least. But that's irrelevant. Who else do you think of when you think of Mark Zuckerberg? Can anybody who's listening to this podcast right now name the actual head of another social media network that you do not work for? I can't. I wouldn't have a clue if you told me who was who. I have no idea. But I know who Mark Zuckerberg is. Why? Because he's eliminated the competition, guys, and that's exactly why he's before Congress right now. He did it in a way that wasn't cool. But do you see what I'm saying? He's differentiated himself, but then that wasn't enough because he really didn't differentiate himself all that much. So he found a different way to eliminate the competition, right? Through underhanded business practices, by pushing them out of the game and buying them up as fast as he could, by making their empires begin to teeter so they were like, it's going to crumble, but we also have a $50 million deal on the table. We should probably take the money and run, right? That's how he ended up with all that stuff, isn't it? Okay, so when you look at that, anything that came at him like competition, he gobbled it up. But another way to do it would be offer a service or a product or a brand that is so unique that no one competes with you. Okay? Or your competition is so far away, it's at arm's length, it's very small, it's whatever. I'm not saying there will never be any competition. The other thing that you can do, guys, listen to me. I'm not a big competitor. All right? If you come on my podcast, you're welcome to tout whatever it is you do, even if you're a book ghostwriter, because not everybody wants to work with me. That's cool. How about co-opetition? You know, let's all get together and see what we can do, right? Plenty of people in the world. There's 8 billion people in the world. Surely you can find a few hundred of them to serve and make a good living this year. It can't be that difficult for you to figure that out without having to cut people off at the knees like Mark Zuckerberg or Sam Walton, for that matter, who kind of engaged in the same type of piracy. But no one ever looks at Walmart and says, maybe we should take them before Congress. They don't. But they might have. They might should have. I don't know if they will now. There's a lot of competitors in the field. Amazon's giving them a run for their money for darn sure. So, do you see what I'm saying, though? These guys have eliminated the competition. They have risen so far above everybody else. So how do you do that? Well, it goes back to what we've been saying. You look up the actual definition of authentication, which I shared in one of my earlier episodes, all right? And you make sure that you're the legit deal, that what you're doing, that what you're saying, you believe in it. I don't say or do anything here on this podcast that I don't believe in, that I haven't tried myself. Or if I haven't tried it, then I will tell you that. Or if I have tried it and failed at it, I will also tell you that. Okay? There's many things that I've helped other people succeed at that I haven't had a lot of success at. I'm going to bring a guy on to give a case study on publishing one of his books that I wrote, and he's done really, really well with it. I wish I had sold that many books. You see what I'm saying? So my writing isn't the problem. It goes in front of publishers and they like it. They buy it sometimes from clients, not with my name on it, for whatever reason, and that's probably because I haven't tried. It's easier for me to hide behind a mask and let somebody else take the credit, which is fine with me because I get paid pretty well. I'm completely obliterating my argument here. But you need to think of differentiation as the way to eliminate the competition. All right, guys. So you're on this mission to find yourself as uniquely you and gain as much attention as you can. How do you measure that? Well, the tool I'm going to tell you about today will help a lot. It's called Shield app, and I'm not getting paid. Again, when I say it's not paid, it's not paid. Okay. The only place that's promoting me right now is Anchor, and they will do that for anybody who starts a podcast with them. ShieldApp.ai. They provide LinkedIn analytics that are beyond anything else I've seen. They can help you determine if your campaigns are working, what you've got going on, where you're at now, where you want to be, all of that fun stuff. You can figure it out by using ShieldApp.ai. All right, guys, that is it for the 8-second rule today. If you are looking for a ghostwriter, please email me, markrmorris2@gmail.com, or find me on LinkedIn, Mark R. Morris Jr. I would love to talk with you if you need help launching a blog or any of those types of products at any time, or if you just need advice on them. I give free 30-minute consults as long as my calendar has room. So, guys, thanks for listening to 8-Second Rule. You've got 8 seconds. What are you going to do with it?